Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Mariela, Program Coordinator at RIP Asylum Support. Today, I want to explain something very important for anyone with an asylum case in an immigration court, why it is critical to update and strengthen your asylum application, and how you can actually do it. Many people who apply for asylum fill out their application quickly, sometimes in a very basic way, because they are under stress, don't have all the documents, or think they will be able to add more details later. But now it's important to update their application right now. Others may have left out important parts of their story, or maybe included information that wasn't fully accurate, or even contradicted their experience. If this happened to you, you should know two things. First, you're allowed to update your application. And second, you need to do it as soon as possible. This is especially important if your case is in immigration court because the consequences of an incomplete application there can be very serious. So, why is this so urgent? Because if your asylum application is incomplete or doesn't include enough evidence, the judge can see your case as weak, and in some situations, they can even dismiss your application. If that happens, you risk being detained and ordered removed from the United States. That's why it's important to take action before it is too late. So, let's break this down step by step. First, what does it mean to have a complete asylum application? A complete application means that every single question on Form I-589 has been answered. There should not be any blank spaces. It means that you included your full information, like your address, your family details, and a clear and complete timeline of the events that explain why you're applying for asylum. It also means that you signed and dated the form and that you completed your biometrics, in other words, your fingerprints. If any of these steps are missing, the judge may consider your application incomplete. Again, this is particularly important if your case is in an immigration court. Second, what does it mean to provide additional evidence? When we talk about evidence, we mean documents that support and prove your story. This can include medical records that show treatment after harm or trauma, police reports or official complaints, reports about conditions in your country from organizations, nonprofits, or news articles, or letters from family members, friends, or community leaders, and even letters from school or workplace that prove your backgrounds. The stronger and more reliable your evidence is, the stronger your case will be. Think of it in this way. Your application is your story, and your evidence is the proof that gives you your story way in front of the judge. So, now why now what do you need to do right now? You should update your Form I-589 as soon as possible and add every document that supports your case. As we said, you don't need to wait until your master hearing or your individual hearing. In fact, if you wait, it may be too late. Also, always respond to court orders, including biometrics. If you miss biometrics and cannot show a good cause, your case can be treated as abandoned. So, how do you actually send these updates? If you have a lawyer, your lawyer will handle this for you through the EOIR electronic system. So it's very simple. But if you do not have a lawyer, you must do it yourself. and this means mailing your updated Form I-589 and all your new evidence to two places. First, to the immigration court, where your case is being heard, and second, to the Office of Chief Counsel for DHS and ICE, which is the government attorney's office. This step is required if your case is in an immigration court. Sending your updates only to one of these offices and not both can create serious problems for your case. So, what should your packet include? Whenever you send documents, make sure your packet is organized. This packet must include: first, a cover sheet, which is a simple page at the front that has your A number, the name of your judge, the date of your next hearing, and a clear title that describes what you are sending. Next, you should include a table of contents, which is basically a list of the documents you are including. For example, Exhibit A, a medical report; Exhibit B, a police report; Exhibit C, country condition article, and so on. You should also include, and this is very important, a certificate of service, which is a short page where you confirm that you sent the same packet to the ICE Office of Chief Counsel. This is very important, as I said, because if you only send your documents to the court and not to ICE or the other way around, your update will not be considered complete. Finally, take into consideration that all you must include all your new evidence and any corrections or updates to your Form I-589. This is very important to include everything. And one more important detail: all the documents must be in English. If you have documents in another language, you must include a full translation in English, along with a certification from the translator stating that the translation is accurate and that the translator is competent. I know this sounds like a lot, and it can be very overwhelming, but these steps are essential to keep your asylum case strong. If your application is complete, detailed, and supported by evidence, you give yourself the best chance of success in court. At the RIF, we know how complicated this process can be, and that's why we hold free legal consultations every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom. You can join us, ask your questions, and get guidance on how to organize and send your updates. Register at our website rifnyc.org or in the link in the description of this video. Remember, especially if your case is in an immigration court, you do not need to wait for your next hearing. The time to act is now. Thank you and see you next time.